Joe Smith is one of the greatest journeymen in NBA history, not because of his actual production, which was relatively decent on some teams, but it's because of the fact that he holds the record for the most teams ever played in a career. And as a side note, I know this guy has easily the most generic name ever. I mean, Joe Smith. You might as well call him John Smith with a name like that. But when you look at the teams that he was on, I kid you not, this guy played for the Golden State Warriors, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Detroit Pistons, the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Denver Nuggets, and the New Jersey Nets. This guy played everywhere, and guys, it is actually crazy. He has played for over a third of all NBA teams. But before we get into his career, make sure you drop a like down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified after every video that we post here. It's your boy David from NBA Knowledge, and let's talk about Joe Smith. Joe Smith, coming into the NBA, was one of the better rookies, and in his rookie season put up numbers of 15 points, 9 rebounds, as well as a steal and nearly 2 blocks, while shooting around 46% from the field and 77% from the free throw line. He had a really productive rookie year and continued it in his sophomore season, as he averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, and shot 45% from the field and increased his free throw percentage to 81%. But then he was later traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves and was playing some relatively solid minutes with Kevin Garnett, and even though his production did dip a little bit, a lot of teams sought after him in free agency, but then he made some very questionable decisions in terms of the contracts that he signed. He signed multiple one-year deals for less than $2 million with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and a lot of people were wondering why. Well, David Stern was no fool, and then he started to put the pieces together about what the Minnesota Timberwolves were doing with Joe Smith. Apparently, the Timberwolves and Joe Smith had an under-the-table deal that he would sign multiple one-year deals for little money, so that way the Timberwolves would get his bird rights, and then eventually they could go over the cap and sign him to a max contract. Guys, for those who do not know, that is illegal. You cannot give players future incentives for money that they have not even earned yet. It is stupid to do that, and the fact that the Timberwolves thought that they could get away with it was ridiculous. And as punishment, the Timberwolves were forced to lose a lot of draft picks in the future that cost them players such as Tony Parker and Tayshaun Prince, which is actually kind of crazy how this one move changed the landscape of the entire NBA. I mean, think about it. If Joe Smith, think about it, Joe Smith was not some sought after free agent, Tony Parker would be in Minnesota, and who knows what the Spurs would be, and Tayshaun Prince wouldn't have gone to Detroit, and who knows if the greatest upset in NBA history with the Detroit Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers in 2004 would have taken place. It's actually crazy looking at all the what if scenarios because of this scandal, and the Timberwolves, it pushed back so many things for them and probably contributed to Kevin Garnett eventually leaving in 2008 via trade to the Boston Celtics. It really sucks, man. The Timberwolves pushed their whole organization back. But getting back to Joe Smith in particular, Joe Smith, it's actually crazy that the Timberwolves went through all of that trouble for him, and then he ended up just becoming a journeyman. He went on to play for 10 more teams after that. Imagine throwing your whole organization away for a guy who later goes on to play for literally a third of the rest of the NBA teams. That is crazy just to think about it. But he later went on to play for the Detroit Pistons, and then went back to Minnesota, then went to Milwaukee, Denver, Philly, Cleveland, Chicago, OKC, back to Cleveland, Atlanta, New Jersey, and then ended his career with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, this guy was literally bouncing from team to team to team and ended up with career averages of 11 points, 6 rebounds, shot 45% from the field, and also shot 79% from the free throw line. And if you want his better seasons, he played 3 years with the Golden State Warriors, In that time, he averaged 17 points and 8 rebounds while shooting 45% from the field. He also played 4 seasons with the Timberwolves, and what's crazy is, in the 4 years he played with the Timberwolves, keep in mind they threw their organization for this guy, he averaged a measly 10 points and 6 rebounds on 47% shooting from the field and 78% from the free throw line. It is ridiculous how the Timberwolves reacted for this, but you know, like I said, this is about Joe Smith. This isn't just about the Timberwolves. He would later go on to have some other solid years. I mean, in Detroit, he did average 12 points and 7 rebounds on 40% from the field. Not the greatest efficiency. He did shoot 81% from the free throw line, so I'll give him that. But relatively, he put up role player numbers. He was the guy that came in just to provide a little bit of consistency for the starters while they're on the bench. But in conclusion, Joe Smith never really was a great player, but at a point in time was viewed as a guy that could be a franchise changer. And honestly, him and the Minnesota Timberwolves pulled off, or at least tried to pull off, one of the dumbest moves in the history of the game. You think that people are not going to realize that a guy who's turning down multiple millions of dollars just to sign multiple one-year deals that pale in comparison to the offers that he's getting from even better organizations in the first place, you think that's not going to be looked at as suspicious and weird? I mean, damn, it really blows my mind that they actually thought that was going to work. But you know, I digress. Joe Smith, role player. Shout out to him from getting the bag and stealing money from 12 different organizations. It's crazy, and honestly, that should be looked at as a skill. He is literally the definition of chase a bag, don't worry about what I'm doing. I will never hate on the player for getting the bag, and Joe Smith, he for sure got the bag. Time after 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 time. 12 times. Shout out to that man. Y'all have a great day. Make sure you drop a like down below, hit that subscribe button, comment your opinions. I would love to know what you guys thought about this video, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified. Y'all stay safe, wash your hands out there. Peace.